The St. Louis Filmmakers Showcase is a program presented by Cinema St. Louis that highlights the film work of St. Louisans. Joining me is Artistic Director of Cinema St. Louis, Chris Clark, who we always love seeing, who's a favorite around here.
Hello, how are you?
Good, it's good to see you.
Good to be back.
So we're going to talk about St. Louis Filmmakers Showcase right now, and what, obviously St. Louis, but what makes this sort of unique? How does it all tie around St. Louis?
It's one of our favorite events of the year. We produce several different film festivals throughout the year of different shapes and sizes, a French one, a gay one, and the big one in November. But this is all dedicated to St. Louis-based filmmakers, a few expatriates who escaped our shores to work elsewhere. But the link is there's a strong St. Louis connection to these people who have created these films, whether the director, the producer, sometimes the stars, but it's all about St. Louis.
And so it starts on this Sunday, on July 17th.
Yes.
How many days does it run?
5 days.
Okay.
We'll have 61 films spread over the time. Some are as short as 30 seconds. Some are as long as 2 hours. All different shapes and sizes of people and films and subjects, and some horror movies and comedy movies. Just really talented people showing some great stories.
And we should mention that you have actually seen all of those 60 films, 60 plus films. Talk about some of the highlights. I mean, you mentioned the different genres, so you're going to get everything from comedy to documentary, but what are some unexpected things we might see this time around?
One of the great things of this event is some of the same people we work with, almost every year, but there's always half of the pool is brand new filmmakers who are just like new students, or people who are just hobbyists who have just created a film and told a good story and wind up in the event. So we meet new people that wind up meeting the other filmmakers, and everyone winds up working together. This year there are 2 feature films that are directed by women, which is the first time that has happened, and rightfully so, in this event, but we're very excited about that. One of them has been in the works literally for 11 years, from the initial first words on a page or a screen, and then in development. And that film is called The Importance of Doubting Tom, by a woman named Vanessa Roman, who works with everybody. She's in several of the other films. She helps other people, writes and directs. She does so many things, and a mom. A great, nice person. So we're just so happy that she's finally done.
Film is like
and
up
it's
on
here,
the
and it's
screen.
nice, and it's romantic comedy, and it'll be really nice. And then there's another second feature, it's a little bit more somber, called I Miss Me, by Chelsea Zoda, later in the week. But that was her senior project that she did, and good enough to be on the big screen at the Tivoli Theatre.
You've been doing this for a long time, and the reason I bring that up is how technology, and even with this, the mix of films that you have this year, how technology has developed, cameras have developed, people's access to them, and how that then affects the submissions. I mean, do you feel like you've seen an increase over the years, or is it are there any changes that you've noticed correlated to the fact that more people have access to filmmaking equipment?
This year event is 16 years old, and in that time it's been ridiculous, the amount of technological changes. Now, like right now today, anybody could make a nice looking film even with their phones. Whereas 5 years ago, even 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you had to have very specialized equipment that wasn't as readily available, very expensive. Editing software wasn't also available, or you had to go to a school or somewhere like here and borrow things, and it wasn't as easy to tell a story. Now anybody can, on any income level, any budget, but have you told a compelling story is the base.
And that kind of comes down to it. I mean, when you think about the story, I mean, you're getting films from people who've been doing this for like 25 plus years to, like you mentioned, a hobbyist who this might be their first official film. What is it that people should look for and be open to, I guess, in seeing all types of film made by local filmmakers? Is it the story? Just look for a compelling, try to follow a compelling story, or
compelling
is it
story? And also a great part of this event is people their crew lives and works here, the cast lives and works here, so their grandmas, their aunts, their cousins, boyfriends, people will come and cheer when they see everybody on the big screen. You'll see lots of St. Louis landmarks, of course. So it's always great to pick out, your friends and family, and I know where that is. Hey, that's my street.
Yes.
Things like that.
Well, I'm going to have the information before I wrap up. Tell me about the Tom Cruise one, only because I was looking at it in the brochure.
It's a comedy short called Thompson, about a young adult who looks very much like Tom Cruise and lives his life like he is Tom Cruise, and just it's just a silly little comedy.
Silly
One
little-
of the many shorts in that program.
All right, well, we've got some fun stuff for you. It's the St. Louis Filmmakers Showcase presented by Cinema St. Louis. It's July 17th through the 21st at the Tivoli Theatre. For pretty much the whole schedule, listings, pricing, everything, you can go to cinemastlouis.org. It's on your screen again, cinemastlouis.org, and check it out and support local filmmakers and support Cinema St. Louis and all the great work that you guys continue
Yeah, they
to
are
do.
artists after all. So
What's that?
They are artists after all.
Yes.
So come support their art and all things St. Louis.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks very much.
All right, well, we'll have more about the St. Louis Filmmakers Showcase right after this. We're going to be talking to a filmmaker, so please stay with us.